Hi, it's Jackie. Today I'll share with you about a movie in which a tiny girl was found by a dog that wanted to kiss her so much that it almost killed her. Epic. A crazy doctor believed that there are tiny people in the forest and had been looking for them secretly in years. One day, he brought his magnifying glasses to observe a bird's fight. One bluebird fell off the ground and there's a seed on his back. He wasn't wrong. Forest warrior, Jack was fighting with a corrupt minion. Once the tree was shot at, it would become rotten. Jack lost his bird. He could only run and eventually got caught by a crow to be eaten in hot pot. The general rushed in to save Jack's life. But Jack just wanted to prove himself to the general. Well then, bye, Jack. On the ground, Mary was in a car, heading to her dad, who's a doctor. This was the place she stayed when she was little. Their dog had already grown so big. He had one eye, 3 legs, and would kiss Mary once he saw her. Her room looked the same as before, nothing changed. So is her dad, who wholeheartedly tried to find the tiny people. That's why Mom divorced him. Mary said, if there are tiny people in the forest, then why humans had never seen him before? Dad explained, because tiny people move so fast that it's hard to see or catch them, just like the flies. Various creatures lived in the forest and there's a fairy queen who could revive corrupted lives. She'd ruled the forest for 100 years. According to the rules, she must choose an heir to her throne, and if she couldn't select her next heir, that seat would be left empty. If so, the corrupt lord would destroy them all and pass down to his son their huge kingdom. The sea, land, and air forces had already assembled. The heir selection ceremony was about to start. The Queen's cruise ship led the parade. At the same time, Mary decided to leave the house and went into the forest with her 3-legged dog. The sea, land, air forces simultaneously helped the Queen's cruise ship landed on the lake. Green leaves formed a path for her. That day, the Queen would transfer her power into a flower bud. 2 plump snails had already arranged the buds neatly. The Queen selected the most unpretentious bud. The general found the corrupt's trace. A battle between the good and the bad was about to start. The corrupt wanted to take over the Queen's magic. She's not useless after all, easily got rid of her pursuit. She was luckily saved by a small girl, too. The battle went out of control. Corrupt Lord and his son came to supervise operations. The Queen could only go to places that have plants. When the general saved the Queen successfully, Corrupt Lord and his son immediately chased them. General shot them using the corrupt's arrow and killed the corrupt prince. Unfortunately, the corrupt lord's arrow also hit the Queen. Thunder stroke on the sky. The wounded Queen fell to the ground, right where Mary was heading to while finding her dog. The trees covered them, while the Queen put her power into the flower bud. Mary held the bud with her both hands, and after spinning round and round, Mary had no idea that she'd shrunk. Before the Queen passed away, she told Mary to keep the flower bud and find the guardian of the scroll, Galulu. After that, the Queen disappeared in the general's arms. Only then, Mary realized that she had turned tiny. The 2 snails said they could keep the bud moist, 247, and wanted to accompany Mary to find Galulu. The bird made a silent protest. You guys are too heavy, should have charged them $200 with 6% off. At that time, Jack won the forest flying contest, successfully proved himself. The general told him the Queen had passed away, asked him to join the team to protect the bud, find Galulu. Jack immediately accepted the mission, joined Mary on their bird plane. The 2 fell into a cave when came near the corrupt kingdom's border. Mary saw a mouse, not knowing what danger awaited her in the tiny people world. She came forward and asked for help. While Jack easily jumped out of the pit, Mary tried, but then failed to do so. Jack hurriedly fought back the mouse. But with his strength, it's impossible to compete with the mouse. Luckily, the general got there in time, called the bird and saved Mary. Grubb said that he knew Mary first, so Mary must be his. Jack replied, shouldn't we talk about love stuff later? Let's just compete fairly. After a fantastic flight, they arrived at Galu's cave. The legendary wise old creature turned out to be a reptile. Mary handed Galulu the flower bud as the Queen had told her to. There were countless scrolls in Galu's cave. Galulu found the scroll about flower bud, and it wrote, the bud must be kept in a humid environment, bloomed on the night of the full moon, then the handover ceremony would be completed. Mary would be able to get back her normal size on that day. And when that happened, they could finally have a new queen. Until then, they could all relax and have fun. At that moment, Jack let down his guard, took Mary on a date. Sitting on a deer that looked huge to them. The 2 enjoyed the beautiful view. It was their most precious moment. At the same time, Corrupt Lord rode on his mouse and evaded the cave, took the snails and the flower bud with him. Corrupt Lord stole the scroll. If the bud bloomed in the dark, it would give him dark power. Then, he would become the forest's official king. To stop the Corrupt Lord, they planned on heading to the Corrupt Kingdom, brought back the bud. To win this battle, they must have protective tools. Mary brought them to her dad's house. The two men effortlessly jumped, while Mary screamed and fell on a jar. Jack and her even got an electric shock, secretly had more feelings for each other. They found the protective saddle, but a giant creature was nearby. It was Mary's dad. From the tiny people's perspective, humans were the ones that damaged the forest. Mary got near her dad, but she was too small. Her dad couldn't hear anything, but her dog could. The dog immediately chased to kiss her, which nearly overturned their house. Mary's dad put on magnifying glasses and saw them. He quickly took the vacuum to catch them all. At that critical moment, the general shot at the doctor's bottom. The general then utilized the elasticity of the dog's soft body, reached to a curtain string, saved Jack and Mary. The doctor crawled back to catch them. Mary, who fell behind, was sucked in the vacuum. The doctor saw that his daughter had turned tiny, got so shocked that he passed out. Mary then used pins to leave Dad her message, then flew away. They disguised at Corrupt Kingdom's citizen, and sneaked in Corrupt Lord's cave. The general then distracted the soldiers with various tricks. Corrupt Lord wanted to seek revenge for his son. Both sides immediately started fighting without saying a word. Jack and Mary found the snails in the flower bud. The enemy was a lot stronger. When the snails could finally exhibit their power, protected the flower bud and crawled out at the same time. Their enemy quickly flew to chase them down, made the snail got so scared that it kept screaming. Luckily, Jack solved that enemy with a flying kick. Corrupt Lord found out that the bud was taken away, instantly roared, gathered all the monsters to chase after them. Wanting to protect the flower bud, the general decided to sacrifice himself, in order to hinder all the monsters. Jack and Mary carried the flower bud, flew straight to the Moonhaven. They remained silent, all felt guilty for losing the general. The bud was placed on the altar of Moonhaven. They then waited for the full moon's light for the bud to bloom, and welcomed a new queen to protect the forest. Unfortunately, not for long, Corrupt Lord brought his bat army to block the moonlight. The bud then stopped blossoming. Forest warriors joined the battle right away. Even the snails wanted to join in. Sadly, Mary had already flown away. Mary wanted to ask her dad for help. If the bud continued to bloom in the dark, Corrupt Lord would then possess dark power. There's not much time left to save the forest. Mary kept calling her dad through the monitor. Sadly, he didn't see her, however he finally saw Mary's sign on the map. A monster crazily chased after Mary. Luckily, her dog showed up in time. He stood in front of Mary and successfully rescued her. Her dad also arrived in the forest. This time saw her, thankfully he didn't faint. He joined her to save the forest. At the time, the corrupt army was about to win. The Corrupt Lord got to the main hall. The guards couldn't stop their enemy's attack. One hammer down, one green soldier finished. Right when Corrupt Lord about to snatch away the bud, the general who escaped from the dead returned, fought restlessly for justice, and to end this battle. Mary brought her dad to Moonhaven. He turned on Soundwave that attracts bats and allured all of them near him. Mary's dad could only run as fast as possible to escape. The general wasn't strong enough, no match for Corrupt Lord. However, Jack and other warriors joined in their fight. As the bats retreated, the moon poked out. The bud rebloomed, the queen's magic inside emitted bright lights, sealed Corrupt Lord on a tree and turned into a giant lump. Forest parts that were ruined by Corrupt Lord also rejuvenated. In the end, the queen appeared again and transferred her magic to the girl who saved her before. That girl then became the next queen of the forest. After finished her mission, Mary was brought away by a powerful force and had to say goodbye to Jack. When Mary's dad found her, Mary had already transformed back to her original form. She stayed by her dad's side, studied more about the tiny people. Jack and the snails came to their camera from time to time to express their feelings for her. They must compete fairly, in order to win Mary's heart. This fantasy movie is epic, talks about the tiny people who protect the forest and fight back Corrupt Lord. Like and follow Jackie. See you again.